Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. It is New Year's Eve, so December 31st, 2020, and I had this idea to do this special reading for each of the zodiac signs for the year of 2021. But it's not just a tarot reading. Last year I did the diving into 2020, and I realized in retrospect that me doing that readings was a sign that 2020 was going to be an unusual year. So hopefully 2021 is better for all of us out there. I have had my Vedic Astrology 2021 horoscope readings for each sign out for a while. If you haven't checked that out and want to take a look at that to see something maybe a little bit more practical every day, check that out. But this reading, and I think I'm going to call them what we need to weave together to create our dreams in 2021. It's going to be titled something like that. I haven't figured it out. And that is because of the two decks I'm going to use. So the first deck, I will pull one card from the Weaver's Oracle. And this is sort of like a deck where we get messages from the ancestors, especially the grandmothers. And what I'm going to do, oh, interesting, I just pulled to the page of Sun. What I'm going to do, so there's two pages for each of the cards. What I'm going to do for this reading is to read her yarn, because these readings are of what yarns do we need to gather up to weave together our dreams for 2021. Sort of like dream weaving, not the dream time dream weaving, but the dream weaving meaning what do we want to create and how are we going to create what we want? Okay. Now, what I'm thinking I will do mid-year in 2021, I haven't decided. We'll see how the year goes. The first half of the year goes, is that in the second half, I will read from the same card for each sign, the braid and the cloth sections. But for this, I'm just going to read the yarn. So one card from the Weaver's Oracle, and then from the Yarn of Mama Shamana deck, which I used last year for the 2020, diving into 2020 readings. I'm going to pull, it's a two-part deck, as you can see, it comes in two parts. These are the backs. There are picture cards, and they're called metaphor cards. And then there are saying cards. I'll just show the back. It's just plain white for that. So it's basically three cards for each sign. And what yarn? It's not going to give you something specific, like you need a new car and you need a new resume or something. You're going to have to take from it what resonates with you. And that's going to give you an important piece for inner work, possibly shadow work, for self-healing, inner healing, for motivation, for inspiration for the year of 2020, so that you can take these yarns that come up for you and weave them into the different aspects of your life to create what you want. So that's my goal with this. We'll see how it turns out. Let me know in the comments how these resonate with you, because this is sort of an experimental reading as well. And people always ask, you can listen to this based on your Western astrology sun sign. You can also listen to your ascendant and moon to get more pieces of yarn, more different colors of yarn, size of yarn to weave together for the year ahead. So this will be fun. This will be interesting. Let me know how it goes. Thank you for being here, and on to the individual readings. Hi, Aquarius. Welcome to your 2021 Dream Weaving reading. Do a deeper shuffle here. So we're starting with the Weaver Oracle here. And you get number 13, Salmon, ancestor of the remembered home. Interesting. So let me look up her yarn and I'll put her picture on screen for you while I'm reading. Let's see. All right, here we go, Aquarius. Salmon, ancestor of the remembered home. She runs with the earth drum. Her yarn. What was the song that played across the land that year, which led to the returning? Perhaps the whispering of salmon heading upstream to their high hill homes, perhaps the piping melodies of swallows and other voyaging birds flying out towards the southern sun, perhaps the soft murmuring of red hinds, heavy with young and circling back to the familiar birthing grounds. Many returning songs were sung that year, but only one called to the barefoot runner as she raced across the land, the solid earth chant of the homeward drum. She was young, her soul was certain, and her limbs were strong. The morning breeze caressed her breast and tangled her hair into a flying banner. Deer toe anklets created light around her feet, and the heron feathers spinning from her belt served to open up a good path for her to run. She was enraptured by the earth's fast drum, and so she sang, Lao he ya ke pe, as her feet hit a steady rhythm, drumming with the heartbeat of the land. And as she traveled, the barefoot runner carried the awakening power and blossoming wonder that is the customary way of maidens racing into womanhood. Indeed, she was a hunter of the blood flower, and thus she sang, Lao he he, karak tak he he, while her running feet made a pact with the earth. The awakening land became the fine blade along which to sharpen her courage, and the taut bowstring against which to test her strength. Tireless as a salmon, she covered great distances and shifting ground. Tenacious as a salmon, she pushed beyond the self-doubt to lead that compelling chase. Intuitive as a salmon, she sang of belonging. Hey yi yaha, maka keshe. And she sang her journey of return. And her feet pounded the paths, and the blood drummed in her veins, and her bones rang with the rhythms of the waiting land. She had become part of the unfolding dance, part of the unformed song, part of the exhilaration shared over and again between excited barefoot fast drum blood flower women and the receiving earth. By the scent of the seasons or the movement of the stars or the enduring mystery of the land, the returning song summoned her to the source. Each day she ran further, laying down young trails through the valleys, opening up virgin tracks across the hills, setting out fresh paths beneath the streams. Eventually, the track that she was running grew familiar, and her feet began to recognize the contours of the ground. By now, the returning song had entirely filled her body, and at last she leapt like a twisting salmon, like a swift arrow, like a racing drum, like a new woman in the first intoxicating thrill of her flowering, into the heart of that remembered home. Whew! All right, Aquarius. That is your first piece of yarn. And so now we'll pull the two cards from the Yarn of Mama Shamana deck. We'll start with your picture card. And these are metaphor cards, so take from it what you will. You can pause the video, take a screenshot. So it looks like we have cookies and tea or honey and a shadowy hand. Okay, and let's pull your phrase card, and then I'll hold them up together so you can take a screenshot if you like. With a blink of her eye, a new world appears from on high. Interesting, Aquarius. I'll hold these up together. And I recommend meditating on these, journaling on them, revisiting them, pulling your own cards on them. See what pops out for you. Let me know in the comments below what of this reading resonates with you. I'm very curious to see. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful start to 2021.